Have you ever felt that your life is not moving forward the way you want? That dreams stay just dreams? And no matter how hard you try, every door you knock on seems to stay closed. Many of us feel this way sometimes. We work hard, we stay patient, and we pray for success. But it feels like the universe is simply saying no. The good news is that very often, life is not saying no. It is actually saying not yet. There is a big difference between a door being locked forever and a door that is waiting for the right moment to open. Most of our frustration comes from not understanding this timing. We want things to happen right now because we are in a hurry, but greatness cannot be rushed. Today, I want to gently guide you through this beautiful truth with a calm and heartwarming story. You will meet a young man named Thomas, who once felt stuck and hopeless, just like many of us do when our plans do not work out. Through his quiet journey, his small struggles, and one wise lesson from an old teacher, you will see exactly how powerful the not yet moments of life truly are. Once upon a time, in a quiet village nestled between high blue mountains and a rushing river, lived a young man named Thomas. Thomas was a person of great passion and even greater dreams. He was a wood carver, just like his father and his grandfather before him. In his small workshop, located at the edge of the village, the air always smelled like fresh pine and sweet cedar. Thomas spent every day from sunrise to sunset working with his hands. Thomas was talented, and he knew it. He wanted to be the greatest woodcarver in the land. He didn't just want to make chairs or spoons. He wanted to create art that was so beautiful, it would be placed in the king's palace. He imagined people from all over the world coming to see his work. He spent hours drawing designs and thinking about the fame he would one day achieve. However, Thomas had a significant problem that lived inside his heart. He was very, very impatient. He felt that he was ready for greatness right now. He had the sharpest tools, he had access to the finest wood, and he had more energy than anyone else in the village. But every time he tried to carve something truly magnificent, something went wrong. Sometimes the wood would crack right in the middle of his work, as if it were resisting him. Sometimes his hand would slip, and a deep, ugly cut would ruin the design he had spent hours on. No matter how much he practiced or how fast he worked, his creations remained good, but never great. They lacked a certain soul, a certain magic that he saw in the work of the old masters. As the months turned into years, Thomas began to feel a deep sadness and anger. He looked at other carvers in the village, who were older and more successful. He felt jealous of their steady hands and their calm faces. He thought to himself, I am working harder than anyone else. I stay in my shop longer than they do. Why is life being so unfair? Why can't I achieve my dream today? He started to believe that he was a failure. He began to think that perhaps he was not meant to be a master carver at all. He felt like a bird that wanted to fly high into the clouds, but found its wings were too weak to lift it off the ground. He grew bitter, and the joy he once felt when holding a piece of wood began to vanish. One afternoon, the heat was heavy in the air. Thomas was working on a statue of a horse. Just as he was finishing the mane, a large knot in the wood caused his chisel to jump. The horse's head snapped off and fell to the floor. Thomas stood still for a moment. Then he threw his chisel against the wall in frustration. I give up, he shouted to the empty room. I have tried for years, and I am still in the same place. Life keeps saying no to me. Every time I try to move forward, I am pushed back. I will stop trying. There is no point. Just then, an old man walking down the dusty path outside stopped by the open door. This was Master Silas. Everyone in the village knew Silas. He was the oldest and wisest man in the valley. He didn't say much, but when he spoke, people listened because his words always seemed to hold a secret light. Silas looked at the broken horse on the floor, then at the chisel by the wall, and finally at Thomas's angry, tearful face. Why are you fighting with the wood, young Thomas? Silas asked, in a soft, gravelly voice that sounded like the wind in the trees. I am not fighting the wood, Master Silas, Thomas replied, his voice shaking. I am fighting my life. I want to be a master. I want to create something perfect. But every time I try, I fail. I think the world does not want me to succeed. It is as if a wall is standing between me and my future. Master Silas smiled, a very slow, kind smile. He walked into the shop and sat down on a pile of cedar planks. "Come with me tomorrow morning," Silas said. "I want to show you my garden. It is a very quiet place, but perhaps it will give you the answer you are looking for." The next morning, before the sun had even touched the mountain peaks, Thomas met Master Silas at his small cottage on the hill. The air was cool and filled with the sound of birds. Silas took Thomas to the back of the house, where a large garden was hidden behind a stone wall. In the garden, Thomas saw a strange sight. On the left side, there were tall, beautiful ferns. Their leaves were bright green and lush, covering the ground in a soft carpet. They looked healthy and strong. On the right side of the garden, there was a patch of ground that looked almost empty. There was only a tiny, tiny green shoot coming out of the soil, barely visible among the dirt. "Look at these two plants," Silas said, pointing with his walking stick. "I planted the seeds for the fern and the seeds for the Chinese bamboo at the very same time. I gave them both the same amount of water. I gave them both the same rich soil and the same morning sunlight. I gave them both the same care and love." Thomas looked at the ferns. "The ferns are beautiful," he said. "They grew so fast. They are already full of life. But what happened to the bamboo? It is barely alive. It looks like it is struggling just to exist." Silas nodded slowly. In the first year, the fern grew quickly. It covered the ground with its green leaves in just a few weeks. But the bamboo seed did not grow above the ground at all. I did not see a single leaf, but I did not give up on the bamboo. In the second year, the fern grew even taller and more beautiful. Still, the bamboo seed did not grow. I still did not give up. Thomas watched the old man, listening intently. "In the third and fourth years," Silas continued, "the fern was the star of the garden. People would walk by and praise the fern. They did not even see the bamboo, because there was nothing to see but brown earth. Many people told me to dig it up and plant something else. They said the seed was dead, but I kept watering. I kept waiting. I kept believing." Thomas looked confused. "Why did you keep watering it if nothing was happening? It sounds like a waste of time. You could have planted more ferns." Silas looked Thomas directly in the eyes, his gaze steady. "Because, Thomas, while the bamboo was not growing upward, it was growing downward, under the soil, where no one could see. It was building a massive, incredibly strong system of roots. It was preparing itself. It was making sure that when it finally reached for the sky, it would have the strength to stand tall and never fall. If it had grown before its roots were ready, the first storm or the first strong wind would have knocked it over and killed it." Then Silas pointed to the tiny green shoot. "This is the 5th year. Do you know what will happen now? In the next 6 weeks, this bamboo will grow 80 feet tall. It will tower over the ferns. It will be the strongest thing in the garden. Is it a miracle? No. It is the result of 4 years of not yet. The bamboo was not failing for 4 years. It was preparing. Life was not saying no to the bamboo. It was saying, not yet." Thomas stood in total silence. The sound of the rushing river in the distance seemed to echo the old man's words. He thought about his own life. He thought about his cracked carvings, his ruined statues, and his slips of the hand. He had seen them as signs of failure, but now he saw them differently. "You see, Thomas," Silas continued, "you are like the bamboo. You want the 80-foot height today. You want the king's palace today, but your roots are still growing. Every time you fail, you are learning how to be patient. Every time the wood cracks, you are learning how to understand the grain better. Every time your hand slips, you are learning focus and discipline. Life is not saying you will never be a master. It is saying you are not yet strong enough to hold the success you want. If you became famous today, your ego would break you. You must grow your roots first." Thomas felt a heavy weight lift off his shoulders. He realized he had been so focused on the result that he had forgotten to value the process. He realized that the time he spent failing was actually the time he spent learning. His roots were being formed in the dark, quiet moments of his struggle. He went back to his workshop that day, but he did not pick up his tools immediately. Instead, he spent the entire afternoon cleaning his shop. He organized his wood. He sharpened his chisels with more care than he ever had before. He sat and looked at a piece of oak for a long time, trying to feel its soul, instead of trying to force his will upon it. He decided that he would no longer fight against time. Months passed, then a year, then two. Thomas stopped checking his watch. He stopped comparing himself to the other carvers in the village. He simply worked. When a piece of wood cracked, he didn't get angry. He didn't throw his tools. He simply smiled and said to himself, "I am still building my roots." He started to enjoy the smell of the pine again. He started to enjoy the rhythmic sound of the metal against the wood. He found peace in the waiting. One day, he began to carve a figure of a mother holding a child. He didn't rush. He didn't try to finish it in a week. He worked on it for 3 months. He carved every tiny detail with love. The folds of the mother's cloth, the softness of her expression, the tiny, delicate fingers of the sleeping baby. He worked with a calm heart and a steady hand that never slipped. When he was finished, he looked at the piece. He didn't see fame or money. He saw a part of himself. It was beautiful. It was more than beautiful. It was alive. It had the soul he had been looking for all those years. He took the carving to Master Silas. The old man looked at it for a long time. He touched the smooth, perfect surface of the wood. Then he looked at Thomas and nodded. "Your roots are deep now, Thomas. You have the strength to stand tall." A few weeks later, a traveling merchant saw the carving in Thomas's window. He was so moved by the piece that he bought it for a very high price and took it to the capital city. Soon, word spread about the carver from the mountain village who created art that moved the soul. Thomas eventually did carve for the king, and his work was placed in the grandest halls of the palace. But by then, Thomas didn't care about the fame as much as he used to. He only cared about the wood and the peace he felt while working. He realized that the years of waiting, the not yet years, were the most important years of his life. The lesson of this story is very simple but very deep. Do not confuse a delay with a denial. When you are working hard and nothing seems to happen, remember the Chinese bamboo. You are not wasting your time. You are building your roots. Success requires a foundation that can support it. If success comes too early, it can destroy a person because they do not have the character, the strength, or the wisdom to handle it. Patience is a form of action. Waiting is not doing nothing. Waiting with a positive attitude is a great skill. It is the time when you refine your craft and your soul. Trust the timing. Everyone has their own season. The fern grows fast, but the bamboo grows high. Do not compare your beginning to someone else's middle. Your path is unique to you. Preparation is secret growth. Every failure teaches you something you need to know for your future success. If life says not yet, use that time to become the person who is actually ready for the dream. I hope this story of Thomas and the bamboo brings peace to your heart today. If you feel like you are standing in an empty garden and nothing is growing, please do not give up. Keep watering your dreams. Keep working on your skills. Keep your heart kind and your mind focused. Your not yet is simply a sign that something even bigger and stronger is being prepared for you. Take a deep breath and trust the process. Your time to reach 80 feet tall is coming. All you have to do is keep growing your roots. If this story helped you feel a little more patient or inspired today, please feel free to share it with a friend who might be feeling discouraged. We are all on this journey together. Keep learning, keep growing, and remember, your season is on its way.